Hi. How are y'all? Early birds? I'm gonna do a little intro because the people that are watching the replay are gonna hear this whole thing, so it's kind of weird. But I am Coach Amy, and this is my 5-year Trimiversary celebration, and we're gonna wait and let all the fun people come in. Hey, Carol. So many people already here. Y'all are cracking me up. Look at that. I love this. Just watching all y'all pop up. Hey, Tiffany. Carol, I love your animal prints. So cute. Hey, Christina. Okay. Couple more minutes. So y'all don't know what the prizes are. I think that would be fun to show y'all. I'm not gonna award them until later, but we need something to do, don't we, y'all? Okay, let me get this little box out of the way. Whew, this is a new thing for me, not having to click to let everybody in. I found a great setting that I can do. Okay, so in no particular order, there will be a set of nut pods. P.S. Is this right? Like, is this correct for y'all, or is it backwards? Is it correct? Glory to the Lord. Okay, so we got a set of nut. So it's my favorite thing. That's what I'm giving away. I mean, duh. Okay, so we got nut pods. We got some JoJo's chocolate. All this will come to the winners via Amazon, not from my house. Okay. We're gonna have some on-plan keto syrup. Okay. We're gonna have a milk frother. It's not looking. It's a Zule milk frother. They're the best. They're the best. Y'all are so sweet and smiling. I love y'all. Okay, I want to hug everybody. Okay, y'all ready? Hug you. Okay. I'm gonna have, you can do any Southern and Healthy shirt. This is a sweatshirt. We have t-shirts. We have long sleeve, short sleeve, and baseball tees. So whoever wins will have the option of choosing. Einkorn flour. My daughter makes jewelry, and so I got 2 pair of her earrings. Let me see. There we go. Aren't they gorgeous? And then she specially made these for whoever wins these. These are specially made for my people. She hand makes them. They're butterflies. Isn't that fresh? Okay. So her name's Lily, and she will be 15 in just a couple weeks. I love her. Okay. What else do I have? Oh, a $10 Starbucks gift card. Duh. Did I say einkorn flour? I don't know if I said that yet. Okay, and then a pour over. Anybody interested in that? Wendy is. I saw Wendy's face. So this would be like the most expensive prize because, you know, it's the best. I'm a little addicted to it. Not gonna lie. Lily Stories Made. Thank you, Liz. Okay, friends, 73 are in here. Okay, if you don't follow my socials or you're not in group coaching, you might not know this. 391 people registered to watch this live or the replay. Holy smokes. So Cindy, I don't know if she's in here yet. I can't. Oh yeah, there she is. I see her. She just popped up. So literally, I'm talking to her. Cindy's my admin, and I'm gonna let you unmute and introduce yourself. I mean, why not? While we're waiting for people to come in, because it's still climbing the numbers. I don't want to start until most of the people are here, but you can go ahead and unmute if you want to. So anyway, I was like, first of all, the OG crew. If you're an OG crew, I don't know if anybody's in here yet. I don't see them. I can't see her. There's Hope. Oh, there's Liz. I'm sorry. It's really hard to see everybody. So if you saw my social media where my my clients came on a trip with me to Wes's Parents Camp in November, they call themselves the OG crew. Hilarious. But anyways, so I was like, y'all, I have my 5-year Trimiversary coming. I want to do something super fun. My brain hurts from preparing all of these things that I've been doing for coaching. And they were all like, and so this was birthed. So this is all thanks to them. And of course, Cindy has helped me so much. So anyway, I was like, Cindy, you think I could do this? Yeah. Do you think like 50 people would sign up? She was like, Amy, 390 something.
I'm not surprised. Can y'all hear me?
I can.
Okay. Hello, I'm Cindy. It's so nice to see all of you and meet some of you for the first time. I've been with Amy since April and sort of organically rolled over into the admin position as she learned I could do some things. So
she knows more than me in a lot of places.
It's been fun, but I told her from the start she would have tons of people at this, and she didn't believe me.
I didn't.
And so I'm so glad everyone's here.
Thank you, Cindy. I really appreciate everything you did to help me get this together. So far we're at 94. We're at a little bit after 8 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and start. And y'all, the questions that you asked were incredible. What I'm going to do, ones I don't get to, I'm going to kind of sprinkle them in my social media post until I run out, because they are really good questions and I would like to explore them with all of my people. So hopefully you follow me. The replay link will have links to all of my things. So you don't miss a lick of me, because y'all know y'all need me in your face all the time, right? But anyway, so I just want to start out, and I might answer some of you guys' questions just from my little rundown of what happened. But in the beginning of all of my healthy journey junk years ago, from the time I found out I was pregnant with my oldest child, who's almost 17, I had high ANA, anti-nuclear antibodies. So I had autoimmune junk going on. That whole pregnancy, all these scans, checks, all this stuff, didn't know what was going on. At that time, interestingly enough, I quit taking in foods that had artificial sweeteners. I read an article in one of those little parenting magazines. I was done with that stuff. So praise the Lord, I quit that at, so early. 20, how old was I? 23 or something when she was born. Anyway, so yeah, that's right. So I did that, and then just a year and a half later, I got pregnant with our next child, and I was having a lot of lung pain. There's always something wrong with Amy. Wes always, he calls it Amy syndrome because it's the weirdest stuff ever and all of that. So they were just like, we don't know what's wrong with you. It could be lymphoma. I'm like, I'm pregnant, and they're telling me I have lymphoma, sarcoid, all these different lung things. So I breastfed her for 6 months, and the doctors were like, you have to stop because we have to do all these tests. Ugh, fine. So I did that. Year and a half later, I got pregnant again with Katie, and I was the sickest with her. Literally could not function. We had a teenager from our church that came and took care of the younger children after they got home from school. She started supper, she did chores. When Wes got home, they traded out. I could do nothing. Bed rest. I was trying to have the baby like every day. That started in August. She was born in December. It was craziness. I was not the girl that I'm explaining right now is not who I am at all anymore. Praise the Lord. So fast forward, I had her, and then I started having all kinds of other problems. At this moment, Wes probably could tell you more. I was just so out of it. Like I did not know. It was so many autoimmune issues, so many. They put me on methotrexate to try to calm my immune system down. I ended up getting pink eye. I got shingles. I had a stomach virus. I got the flu, like boom, 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 within like a couple of weeks. And I was like, we're not taking this no more. So then I started doing more health-minded things. I started exercising. I started eating right. It wasn't Trim Healthy Mama or anything like that. And so just kind of fast forward several years, I just continued trying to learn more about health and nutrition. I always wanted to be a nutrition coach, even 15 years ago when Lily was a baby, 14, 15 years ago. That was something that was very important to me. But I could not afford the program the only one I could find. You know, the internet back then wasn't as user-friendly as it is now. And so I was kind of at a standstill with that. And then we decided that the Lord was leading us to adoption. And if you want to read my full adoption story, it's on my link tree at the very bottom. I have a blog where I recorded everything that happened a year later. So if you start at the beginning, at the very bottom, and go backwards, it is in a chronological order. And I'll share that on the email that you will get with the replay, the link tree there, and it's got our adoption blog is what it's called. So anyway, that was very traumatic. To make a long story short, when you adopt a child, you are taking a child from their parents. Okay, I mean, that's just really heavy in itself. And then we had a lot of extra things as well. And then a year later, we found out she was pregnant again, and so we found out we were going to be adding another child to our family. And then our birth mom, very, very sadly, she passed away just a few weeks after Knox was born. She actually never left the hospital. She never woke up after the day he was born. It was very, very bad. And she was Courtney. I didn't even plan to talk about this. It was very difficult for me. And it put me in a really bad place. Even with her pregnancy with Knox, it was very difficult. And I don't even know that I want to go into that, if that's okay. I don't know y'all, but all of you, but it was very traumatic. You can use your imagination. Y'all watched a Lifetime story. That's kind of like what it was. Okay. So when she passed away, we were not sure if we were going to get to keep him. There were talks that he might have to go back to some of the birth family. That's what God wanted. It's what God wanted, but ripped me to shreds. As y'all know, he's ours now, of course, but that was very, very difficult. That's when I gained most of my weight. I had lost 30 pounds, lost and gained, kind of Karen, like you with your set. Mine was like that with 20, 30 pounds. I think a lot of people are like that, whatever number it is, you lose, you gain, you lose, you gain. And then you finally get some momentum and learn a plan called Trim Healthy Mama, and it just changes your life. And that's what happened to me. But literally in so much pain, many of those years, could not get off the couch. At our church, we raise our hands and worship, couldn't do it. Cried my eyeballs out because I just wanted to do that just one time a month. Okay. But I couldn't. I cried and cried and cried. And I could not parent my children. Wes would literally be working all day, come home, do all the things. I barely survived. And after Knox was born and all of that happened, and we knew we were going to keep him and all of that stuff, he was born in April. She passed away right at Mother's Day. At the end of the summer, between July and August, I told Wes, I said, I know that I probably am not going to do very good at this, but I've got to go do something for myself. And he was like, please, go whatever you got to do. And I started going to CrossFit, of all things. Okay. Crazy. I did like kettlebells and stuff like that. It was an all ladies class. We were so cute with our kettlebell, but I got really strong. And so my muscle memory was like this, but I was still, I was like a tight size 12. I probably should have been a 14 or 16, to be honest, but I was like, I am not buying any bigger pants. So I started out there probably 160 to 165 pounds. My before picture that many of you might have seen is like a white sports bra. I got a towel on my head. That was the day I started CrossFit. There's also a before picture of me in an orange tank top floating around. That was the first day of CrossFit. So that was the end of the summer 2016. So I worked out pretty consistently, at least 2 or 3 days a week, got stronger, got faster, got more motivated, made friends. It was a whole new set of people in my life that loved me and wanted to see me do good. And that was really nothing I'd ever experienced. So it was incredible for me. And then in January of 2017, my best friend, Jennifer Gerald, she's Coach JJ now, if y'all have seen her out and about. She's now a Trim Healthy Mama coach. She was my admin for a year, and now she's coach. So Cindy is now admin for me. But Jennifer brought THM to my attention. And so we were actually at the camp where I had my little ladies retreat. And she was telling me, and I'm looking at these books and I'm looking at the recipes, and I'm like, I can do this, but so we made our first recipe while we were at the camp, and it was all good. And then I get home and I go to the website, and you people, let me tell you, I don't know if y'all had this experience. I was looking at the things you could buy, and I'm like, I ain't buying all this stuff. They've lost their minds. Collagen, sweetener, blah. And now I'm like, y'all better buy collagen and y'all better buy super sweet because it's going to change your life. But I was the girl. And I'll tell y'all, I didn't buy stuff for at least 4 to 6 months. I didn't. I just did my thing. And so that is where it kind of just opened the floodgates of what could be. I joined the main THM group. I became a stalker of all things Pearl and Serene, listened to every podcast, looked at every post. I was all in. And I saw results pretty quick because I've had so many clients now. I've been a coach for over 2 years. My results were quick. And I know that. I think it had a lot to do with I didn't even talk about my hysterectomy. I'm a stars. But anyway, I did have a hysterectomy when I was 29. I didn't even talk about that. I'm sorry. I told myself to write notes, but then I didn't want to be too I don't know what the word is, too stuffy about it. So anyhow, with Trim Healthy Mama, I had healed my body of Hashimoto's. I'd had Hashimoto's since I got pregnant with Katie, which was in 2008. So in 2017, in April was when I hit my goal weight. It only took me 3 to 4 months. I'm going to go into more of that because y'all asked some great questions. So I'm going to answer those specifically about my journey in those first few months and the years that came later. But what I want to tell you guys is that my mind shifted. My mind went from living to eat to eating to live. Does that make sense? So I just, we put so much, we let food control us so much that we are not in control of food. And if you can get that in your head and your heart, I'm telling you, you can do anything, because the control that food has over our society, over women, is stupid crazy. And it's not real. Food, I tell my girls all the time, food does not love you back. It does not. Has food ever loved y'all back? Maybe for a second, and then it's gone. So I just want to encourage you guys with that. So whenever I began eating THM, I almost immediately felt better because my inflammation was leaving, right? My energy was increasing. My brain fog was leaving. I was enjoying food. I was eating a cucumber a while ago, and I remember Danny saying this on the podcast, and I was like, he has lost his ever-loving mind. He was talking about a cucumber tasting sweet. And I literally tonight, I was like, oh, it is sweet. He was right. And so when you clean up your mouth, okay, you can enjoy the foods that God gave us. I would have never eaten a mango. I had never heard of kefir, einkorn flour. I had never heard of soaking grains. I had never heard of sugar alcohols, that kind of stuff. Those are all foods. I would have never made a shake with okra in it, for heaven's sakes. A GGMS. I'd had apple cider vinegar drinks before, but never knew why it was important. When I learned that, yep, I'll drink it every day if you want me to, that kind of thing. So those are just some things that came through on my journey that I guess in my heart, I prayed that God would just make me say words that were most important, because my journey, of course, it being 5 years, there's so many things. But those were the top ones. So I'm going to get started going through all of these pages of questions. They are front and back. Like I said, the ones that I don't get to, and some of them are repeats, so it won't be all of them. But we're gonna get started. I love being able to see all of y'all. Zoom is the best. I love it so much. Okay. How long did it take you to make THM part of your daily life? I would say a few months. It was not easy. It was not easy for me. I was at home with 3 little girls and 2 little boys. And I was homeschooling the girls and managing the boys. We were just surviving. I was just keeping those children alive and fed as best as possible and learning to feed myself. So of course it was 5 years ago today. Lily will be, her birthday's coming up. I remember January 25th-ish. She was having her birthday party. They were having pizza. I was bound and determined to make an on-plan pizza. I was going to do it. And it took me forever to make that darn pizza. Now I can make a pizza skillet in 5 minutes. I wish I'd have known me back then, y'all. But I was bound and determined to make that pizza, and I fooled with that crust. But I I just took a lot of deep breaths and I did it, but it wasn't easy. I remember making my first shake and going, nope, ain't doing this again. I had all the things at that point, but I was like, that was a lot of stuff to put in a shake. And now I can throw a shake together in minutes. Like, it's no big deal. So I want to encourage you. I'm gonna stop for a sec. I'm gonna do a lot of rabbit trails, and that's okay. I hope y'all are fine with that. But if that's your life right now, dude, just take a breath, take a step back. It's going to be okay. I promise it is. And just try to find some more simple things. Okay, next thing. What's been your biggest challenge throughout your journey, beginning and then maintaining? My biggest challenge would be my mindset. And I've already shared that with you guys. I learned that fueling my body with food was most important, not fueling my emotions, if you will. So that mindset right there is just, it has to take precedence in your mind. Okay, how much did exercise play a part in your weight loss? Did you have extra skin to deal with after weight loss? So exercise was very important. As I told y'all, that's how I started going to CrossFit. And if you look at my beginning picture where I have that white sports bra on, and then to the one that I shared today in the main THM group and the beginners group, I'll send y'all a copy of that too in the email. I didn't do it public because all the people can see all my things. I don't want to, that freaks me out. So, it is a change. I do not have my measurements anymore. I really don't even know what my weight was at that time. I just did not know it was important to keep up with that. So what do I scream at my buds? Measure, measure, measure. weigh, take the picture, because it's so important. I don't care where you are on your journey. In the morning, I want y'all all to do that, because in a year from now, there's no telling where you'll be. And I think it'll be a beautiful thing for you to compare. I did not have extra skin to deal with. I did not have to deal with that. Okay, what keeps you going on the plan at times when you were not losing weight or seeing changes? What kept me going was learning that my body is God's temple, and it is my responsibility to feed it and take care of it well. And also my influence over my teenage daughters. I have 3 teenage daughters. My actions are going to speak much louder than my words ever will. And I want them to understand what being healthy is. Also, my influence over my clients, over my followers, that's what keeps me going. Honestly, one of the main reasons I became a coach was to keep myself on track. Honest to goodness, that was one of the reasons, because I kept finding myself sliding backwards and not doing all those things I've already told y'all, not keeping my mind right. But I felt like God was calling me to be a coach, and I knew it was only going to help me in my journey. So why not? And now look at me. Holy smokes. Courtney, you got your Southern and Healthy shirt on. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you for wearing that. Okay. What are the top keys to your success? Meal plan, stocked kitchen, and knowing the consequences if I go off plan. I wrote those down in like seconds, y'all. It was like second nature. My meal plan, if anybody has been with me for a long time, you know those have changed. I used to have a legit calendar. It was like Monday night, I will have this meal. And now it's not. It's like, here's 2 S suppers, 2 E suppers. Let's just have them whenever it feels good. So I got a little more loose with that, but I have a plan. I know, and I buy my groceries off of that list. I don't know how people wing it and stay. That blows my mind. I don't know how it happens. So I definitely teach my clients and encourage you guys to do the same thing. Having a stocked kitchen is very important. I always have certain things on hand: unsweetened almond milk, yogurt, frozen vegetables, lean protein source, THM products, collagen, super sweet, unsweetened almond milk. I don't know if I said that already. Different things like that I always have on hand. And so I can always make a meal. Okay. What was the hardest thing that you had to change in order to completely embrace THM? Self-control. Self-control. And this last 100 days on plan, where I did from the end of September to the end of December, taught me that I still got it. I still can have self-control, even though I'm at my goal size. I still, Haley said, wow, preach. Y'all are so fun. I love y'all. So, it just really is important to know your limits and have self-control. And also, if I'm going into a situation that I know I could be tempted to go off plan, accountability partner, buddy. My husband, bless his heart, that's usually his job, or my teenage girls, because they want to see me win, and that's important to them too. Okay, I know who asked this question, and I'm so thankful she did. It was wonderful. How has taking control of your health changed who you are? Y'all, I am my best self. Do I have room for improvement? Yes. Am I the bee's knees? No. Am I perfect? No. But I know that I'm my best self right now. I am the healthiest I've ever been. My anxiety and depression is the most under control it's ever been without medication. I do take some supplements from time to time. Usually Mondays are actually some of my most difficult days because they're just so busy. And so I have little things I take for that, oils or whatever it is. I have all kinds of different things that I do. But that really is so important. And then she asked about self-control, which is funny because that was the last question. She said self-control once implemented seems to be character building. And I was just wondering who you were 5 years ago versus the Amy I know and see now. The Amy 5 years ago laid her behind on the couch all day and watched TV and could not take care of her family. The Amy that y'all see now is a go-getter. I am constantly moving, changing, reinventing things. I want to see all of you guys succeed. I'm doing what it takes to take care of my family in different situations and feeding them well and teaching them. And then also caring for myself. Last year, the theme was self-care. The theme before that year was resolve. And this year it's solutions, right? Actually, you can find some solutions, no excuses. And I just really think those themes just really build on each other and they've just made me realize how important doing all the things really is, you know? Okay, balancing between work, mom, wife, and home. How do you balance all that? Because I talk to people all the time, like prospects. So I do like a free 15-minute call. If you're going to be on my one-on-one waiting list, I require that. And so I'm going through different things and they're just sitting there going, how do you do all that? And I say, I have a plan. I have a plan for everything. I plan it. Either there is a plan in place, there's a schedule in place, and I'm organized. And you know what? If you've got a lot going on, that's kind of important. If you have to go to work, you have to plan for childcare. You have to plan what you're going to wear. You have to plan, you got gas in your car. You know, it's the same thing with THM. You just have to plan and be in control of all that. Okay, somebody asked, did you ever stall for a couple of months at a time? Not really. My loss, like I said, was from January to April. I did not really see loss until like mid-March, and then it just started coming down. I think I had that healing to do. Now, I did find myself a couple of times in those years where I got tired and weary. I did not have a community around me that was actively pursuing THM, and I think that has been very helpful for me the last few years. And then also, you know, I had the hormone storm. I don't know if you guys have heard about my story with that, but what happened was when the COVID shutdown happened, my business took off, but all 5 of my children and 2 of my nieces were pretty much home all the time, and Wes. And so the COVID shutdown in itself was just overwhelming, right? So many unknowns. Everybody was wigging out. We didn't know what to expect. Once again, like I said, my business was booming and I was just like, okay, what do we do now? You know? And so what happened was my adrenals had literally been carrying my body from that total hysterectomy I talked to you guys about. My Hashimoto's came back. And so I ended up thankfully getting in with a functional medicine doctor summer of 2020. And she did a full hormone panel and a full thyroid panel, among other things. Took like 19 vials of blood, y'all. I was like, do I have any left? Do I need to go upstairs and get some kind of transfusion? But no, I didn't. I actually did fine. I had me an E in the car and I was good to go. But Anyway, so she was like, girlfriend, you have nothing, like none of your hormones are there, which I mean, duh, I didn't have ovaries making any of it, right? But what she explained to me, it was that my adrenals had been carrying me that whole time. And then all the stress and anxiety from COVID and all the things happening in my life, my adrenals just tanked. And so I did love on my adrenals for a while, singing canary, lots of ease, lots of fruit, lentils, mangoes, sweet potatoes, all that wonderful stuff. But y'all, it just wasn't enough. And I'm telling y'all, I fought her about taking the thyroid medication. It's called Armour Thyro. It is a more natural medication. She was like, you need to get on this. Well, in the meantime, while I was waiting and trying to fix it all myself, I gained like 10 or 15 pounds in just a few weeks, being 100% on plan and working out and doing all the things. And then I was like, you know what? Might not take that medicine. And within like a week or two, the weight had gone away. My body just could not handle it. It needed a little help. And so I hope that encourages any of you guys that might be dealing with something, whether it's the same thing or not. Sometimes you do need a little help. But anyway, I will take it till the day I die. My hormone pellets, I get implanted estrogen and testosterone every 3 months. I take a progesterone trophy under my tongue. Remember, surgical menopause at 29. I was actually 38 when that started taking all of this stuff, almost 39 years old, and it has definitely helped me a lot. Okay, let's see what else. How have you been working out since you first started THM, or did you add exercise later? So CrossFit, of course, was 6 months before I started THM, and I have been very faithful to CrossFit. 5.5 years I have been going. During that hormone storm last summer, I did not go for a while. I took a break. It was actually really, really hot at that time too. If you have adrenal problems, adrenal fatigue, the heat greatly affects you. And so I just took a break, but now I go once or twice a week. That's all I go. And I'm doing great. I have no problems with my workouts. Okay. Tips to stay on plan long-term. Once again, plan, be prepared with that stocked kitchen. And this is a new little tip. Know why you are doing THM. If you're just doing THM because you think you're going to lose weight, it ain't going to keep you going, guys. I'm just sorry. It's not. You have to know why, and you have to have a really, really, really good reason. Because say you're doing it to lose weight and a week in, you haven't lost anything, you're going to quit. 3 months in, you haven't lost weight, you're going to quit. Any of my girls will tell you that have struggled with weight loss, you have to give it time, especially if you have healing to do. Can I get an amen on that? Because I mean, am I right, girls? And I'm looking at some of y'all, I know your story. I know it. And it takes time. So I want to encourage you guys with that. What has been your hardest struggle, and do you still struggle with? Being prepared in a social setting. That is something that I did not want to do. I fought it kicking and screaming. I am not going to be the weirdo that brings blah, blah. And now, actually, where did I set it? Y'all know what I take to me when I go to the coffee shop. If y'all see my social media, you know this. I take this to the coffee shop. Sometimes it just stays in my car, but it has gone inside at the table with all kinds of people looking at me. And I just open my baby formula container and I put my collagen in there and I mix it up with my milk frother. And sometimes I even have my nut pods. Y'all didn't know this was going to be show and tell. And I don't even give a care. I sure don't. Going to other people's houses. Hey, Courtney, I know I'm coming to your house for supper. Is it okay if I bring a salad just so I can make sure I got enough veggies? Yeah, sure. I mean, who's going to tell you you can't bring food? Just saying. So that is something that I encourage you with. Restaurant. JJ and I busted up in the Mexican place not too long ago with our baked Tostitos and our own plan cake. Nobody said a word to us. You know, they don't care. It's okay. They're just glad you're there and they're going to give them a good tip, right? All right, let's move on. That was only page 1. Lord have mercy. Okay. Does your family eat THM? What tips do you have following THM while still feeding your family? I am not a short order cook. No, ma'am, I am not. But I also choose recipes and meals that my family will enjoy. I don't do weird wacko jacko things and expect them to love a soup loaded in slimy okra. It's not going to happen, especially in the beginning. Okay. So, you know, just choose like bunless burgers, grill, potatoes, chili, whatever, whatever y'all are used to eating, try to THMify. You can look up THM meatloaf. You can look up THM roast. I actually have a really good recipe on my website. You can look up THM anything and you can find something. There are amazing bloggers in addition to, of course, all the cookbooks. Okay. My main thing is make normal things. Now, if you're making your family this little main dish and they're going to have, there's a regular sides like mac and cheese, Kraft mac and cheese. Okay, fine. Let them eat that. You have your sides. Just make sure you got yourself covered. And I think everything will be fine. Okay, and then the next question was the same thing, so I'll skip that. How do you deal with temptations and how do you stay on plan when you're craving something that's not on plan? I do not crave off-plan things much anymore. Now, if you sat a Reese's egg, tree, pumpkin, or heart in front of me, it would be very difficult for me not to crave it, want it, think about it. My daughters, Christmas morning, they're looking in their stocking and Bella goes, Mama, where's our Reese's tree? I said, they at Walmart. You can get in your car and go buy you one. But I'm telling you, if I bought that 6-pack, because my girls are the only ones that eat them, my boys don't like them. That meant there'd have been 3 for me. And normally I'd have eaten those when I was setting out all their Christmas. God's honest truth. But guess who was 100% on plan over Christmas? This girl. So I didn't even buy them. And I lived. Now, if y'all look on my YouTube channel, I did make Reese's eggs. I called them faux Reese's eggs. It was somebody else's recipe, but it wasn't eggs, I don't think specifically. Anyhow, I did make them and they were okay. They were not exactly what I wanted in my mouth. But if y'all were to ask me one thing I would go off plan for, it would be one of those. But I wouldn't want just one. So I'm probably not even ever going to do it. It's just, I've had plenty of those in my life, y'all. Really. Really, I have. And it probably would just make me have a stomach ache, a headache, and all the things. So I'm not even going to worry about it. But y'all know that I'm a real life person. Now, what do I do to rescue myself from when people are having dessert? Say we go out with friends and they're having, the cheesecake or whatever. I would order a coffee in a heartbeat and put heavy whipping cream in it and not be sad at all. Okay. So find you something like that. I've also taken on-plan chocolate, the JoJo's. I've taken that with me as well, if I know. Okay, what habit has made the biggest impact on your journey? My menu. Knowing that I have options that are on plan in my kitchen to put together. Now, Wes does joke that we don't have food in our house. He says we have ingredients. Like tonight, he made supper. Y'all will see. I'm gonna post it later. He made supper for me tonight because I work till 5:30. And well, actually my call's at 5:30. So I work till 6:45. But anyway, he made it work. And I was just like, it was a crossover. He's like, can you have this? And I'm like, I can. But I think it's fat and carb together. I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. I can have a crossover. It's okay. It's my Trimiversary. I can have a crossover, And so it was so sweet. And I would never tell him unless it was like legit off plan. Then I'd be like, I'll make something. It's fine. Thanks. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Overcoming health obstacles. I feel like I talked about that. What does on-plan camping look like for you? I always feel when I go. So I do have a couple of YouTube videos where I talk about my camping escapades. We've already gone over 30 minutes. I'm going to keep going. If y'all have to go, it's fine. Okay. So I always make a plan. I always write it out. JJ and I typically go together. She does a meal. I do a meal. We pretty much do chili. We'll do burgers. We'll do tacos. I mean, we kind of just repeat and we don't stay more than a couple nights. So it's not that much. The men do eggs and bacon and spinach on the Blackstone for us. So we've got a yummy breakfast. I'll pack my PPP cups. I'll make that. That's an oatmeal variation if you're not familiar. I bring my collagen, have all the coffee in the free world. It's just wonderful. And so I make a plan. I pack all my stuff. But yeah, you can totally look at that video. And you can also search because I've got a lot of lives. I go live in my camper quite often. It might not be on YouTube. Okay, I would especially love to hear anything that helps you get your mindset in the right place. I just know that the alternative to me going off plan is me being sick and hurting and not feeling good. And I don't want to deal with those consequences. So I'm going to stay on plan. What was the hardest part of figuring out THM in your journey? Learning the fuels. I thought that peanut butter was a carb for the first 6 months. So I'm just saying it worked for me and it was okay. So I was probably having crossovers and not meaning to and still lost. And I know if you're in group coaching, you're like, you tell us not to have crossovers. Well, no, but you have a coach, Precious, who's telling you right and wrong. But, I did make a lot of mistakes, and I just learned as I went. I stayed in that cookbook. I did not wing it, to be honest with you guys. I just stayed in the cookbook and did those things, or I checked the cookbook out and figured out a way to make whatever it was. All right. How long after beginning THM did it take for you to notice changes in how you felt and improvement with the health issues you had? Weeks. A few weeks in, I started feeling better. Anybody else? Could y'all tell? What's your favorite fuel pull meal or snack? If you know the answer to that, I give you permission to unmute yourself and answer that, because I need to take a sip of drink.
A Trimmy light.
Yeah, girl, you know it. I was wondering who was going to do it. You win, ding, ding, ding. I love a Trimmy light. Trim Healthy Cookbook, page 430, if you need that. Okay, how long did it take for you to be consistently on plan and for it to come naturally? I really don't remember, but I remember it being very hard. I remember it being very hard. And I really think it was because I felt alone, and I had all the little kids. So I'm very grateful for the community that I've built for my clients, and of course on my social media page. And I pray that my Southern support group is helpful for that. I feel like it is, just to give you guys ideas and fresh things to think about and try. Okay, let's see. How did you get to be so awesome? And also, what were the biggest changes you made for your thyroid that helped you lose weight and lower the thyroid issue? Jesus is only, God's awesome. I'm just doing my thing. I'm not awesome. He is. But with thyroid, I take the medicine. I have at least 1 E a day. Singing Canary is 100% in my toolbox for doing healing of the thyroid and the adrenals. Very, very important. But mainly, guys, I'm just telling you that medicine. If your doctor or your natural practitioner or whatever is encouraging you to do that, I do encourage you to try it. What was there one specific thing you did that helped with the weight to start dropping? I did the plan. I trusted the plan. I had S, E, and fuel pull. Back then, I did not, personal choice really wasn't anything that was on my radar. Crossovers were not on my radar. I really didn't even know what that was. I did not know what an S helper was until I took the coach's exam. I had never thought about my servings of carb sources until I took my coach's exam. So I did all those things with the recipes, and reading. Trim Healthy Table really changed my life because it explained how to make it a meal. You take this serving of this casserole, but you add these veggies to it. That was very helpful for me. So y'all be sure to utilize your cookbooks when it comes to that. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is what I wanted to read. When did it become a lifestyle versus work? Do y'all ever feel like THM is work? Oh, it won't be forever. I feel like I'm making headway when tragedy hits or vacation and it derails me. I know it's all a mindset, but I often feel like a failure. Well, whoever that is, I'm giving you a big fat hug and I'm loving you because I've been there. But you are not a failure. Hey, who's not muted? Y'all know? Nobody that I'm looking at. So I just want to encourage you to find a THM friend. I don't know if this person is in any of my stuff or not, but just reach out on the main page, and just get involved in some THM community so that you have someone loving on you and cheering for you, because you are not a failure. You keep trying and you're going to see success. And like I said, plan. I do not have nothing in my life is worth me going off plan for. That's just how I see it. So That might be a little hardcore and intense for y'all, but that's how I have maintained all of this. What's your favorite THM recipe? Crispy salmon siesta, THC page 80. Love it. Love it. It's my favorite. And then of course a Trimulite. I don't even see that as a recipe, but some of you might. Let's see here. Favorite meal or snack when you're hangry and staring inside the fridge with nothing pre-cooked. So I haven't made this in a long time, but I love a light rye wassa cracker with peanut butter and some sunflower seeds and some chocolate chips. Oh, it's so good. And actually, if you put it in the microwave for like 5 or 10 seconds, it's even more delicious. So that is super, super yum. And I love chocolate and peanut butter. It's the best. And like it takes seconds to make. That is actually one of my alternatives for s'mores when my people are doing that when we're camping, because I can do that anywhere, and you can take that anywhere. And you can use full fat peanut butter. You don't have to use fuel pull peanut butter. So there's not anything extra to do, which is great. Okay. What is your favorite benefit of THM? Y'all, I just don't know that I can count one, but my energy and my outlook on myself. I see so many women, and I do this too. I second guess. People closest to me know I second guess. I doubt myself, but deep down, I'm proud of myself and I know I'm doing the right thing. And that means so much for sure. So I just want to encourage you to do that. You're going to be so proud of yourself if you stick to this. Did you measure? How often did you weigh in? I know I took pictures every January 10th, but unfortunately I have lost all of that information. I don't really know. I actually looked back. I searched my name in the main THM group to see if I posted it much information. I really couldn't find anything because I think I post a lot in there. But I've been in there for 5 years, so there's going to be a lot of stuff. Okay. Let's see. What are your favorite treats to keep on hand from the books or from bloggers? And what candy or cookie recipe repeats itself on your annual holiday baking list? I love a carrot cake. I make a carrot cake every year. I love Brianna Thomas's Christmas cracker toffee. I actually just finished my last bit from that. When you hit a low, what was the best way to get back up? How would you do it? My husband would usually call me on it, and I would just have a little conversation with him about, maybe I just need a little extra time to prep something, just to have on hand. And that's important. I do encourage my clients to talk to their husbands, especially if they are the full-time caregivers of their children. Maybe he takes them somewhere, or she has I don't know if this is right to say, but sometimes for me, I feel guilty at night not being with Wes or like watching our show or with the family. I feel guilty that I'm in there making like a batch of something, but maybe just if that's something that you deal with, because that's something I dealt with, I just encourage you to talk with your husband and just say, okay, look, so on Tuesday night, I just need like 30 or 45 minutes to make a batch. And they're probably going to go, okay. Like they really don't care. But, we have all this guilt on us that's not even for real. Just saying. Okay. And the last one is, would love to hear a bit about how your faith plays a part. I'm feeling like it's only the Lord getting me through some days, and I'm so grateful. Amen. 100%. I will be honest with you guys. Wes and I talked about this last night. It has been a very interesting healing process for me with God. I had a very difficult time post-adoption stuff. Okay. He carried us through, no doubt, but it was so painful and so sacred and so special. And God was the only one that fixed it. He was the only one. And so I kind of feel weird just talking to him about my food or self-control when he did. I know it might sound strange. I don't know if it does or not, but I'm just telling y'all how I felt and how I do. But I really want to encourage you guys, because I have to remind myself all the time, he is for me. He wants me to be healthy. Why wouldn't he want me to be healthy? My mind, my heart, myself, my health, my food, my physical being, my relationships. He wants all of that to be healthy. And so, yeah, take it to him, all the things. And I actually talked to my balloons about this last night. God love their hearts. I re-listened to that and I was like, well, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. But I talked to them about that last night, that he is for you and he wants all the good things for you. Okay. I feel like I have talked and talked and talked, and I have. It's 8:47. Oh, my stars. So, Angie, you're so welcome, love. Do y'all want to know who won the prizes? Yeah? Y'all excited? That's the only reason y'all came. JK. Okay, I don't know some of these people's names. So if you are a winner, I want you to like do something, like unmute yourself and say, hey, I'm her. Okay. All right. Milk frother. I don't know where it went. Y'all know what that is. Kelly Stanton. KELLYSTANTON. She is the winner of the milk frother. 117 watching. Well, Cindy, it's a good thing we did that little upgrade. Okay. The JoJo's goes to Deneen Thrasher. She's one of my girls. Deneen here. I'm still only seeing like one page of people, and that's okay. All right. The einkorn flower is going to Amy Serrao, SERRAO. I feel very like I'm having a hot flash saying these names because I think I'm gonna say them wrong. Okay. Brittany, do you know Debbie Farley? No relation. I was like, oh, that'd be so cool. Debbie Farley won the pour over coffee pot. Congratulations, Debbie. Okay. I hope that some of y'all that have sat here win some things. I'm halfway through. Okay. Butterfly earrings go to Emily Eekhoff, EEKHOFF. Nobody. Okay, fine. All right. Terry Manty, M-A-N-T-Y. Manty. That's hard to say. She won Southern and Healthy shirt. Congratulations, Terry. Oh, I didn't do one for the keto syrup. Oh, shucks. Hang on. I know what number it is. Y'all give me a second. Okay. The bead earrings, which are these ones, those ones, they go to Wendy Grant. I think I saw Wendy. Did I see Wendy? Maybe not. Okay, I got to look up this person here. And she was number 49. Oh, Becky Moody. Yay. She actually lives in my town. That's fun. So Becky Moody won the keto syrup. And then the Starbucks gift card goes to Devin Ayla, A-Y-A-L-A. So congratulations to Kelly, Deneen, Amy, Debbie, Caitlin, Emily, Terry, Becky, Wendy, and Devin. Congratulations, y'all. Okay, I have 10 minutes. And
so was that 9?
What?
Was that 9 people? I thought you were doing 10.
I did 10.
Oh, I missed somebody then.
Kelly, Deneen, Amy, Debbie, Caitlin, Emily, Terry, Becky, Wendy, and Devin.
Oh, I missed Caitlin. I didn't hear that one.
I might not have said it. Caitlin Lynch won the set of nut pods. I told you I was having a hot
Yeah,
flash.
you didn't say that. Okay, and what did Devin win?
Starbucks gift card.
Got it.
I can send you a picture, Precious. Thank you. Okay. You're welcome, I love y'all. Y'all are just the best ever. Y'all are just chatty Cathy's. I love it so much. Okay. If you need to leave, totally understand. 9 minutes. If you have a question for me about my journey, I do not want to talk about the THM plan. It's not what we're doing here. I don't necessarily want to answer a question about your journey either. Not what we're doing here, because I have to have people that sign waivers for that kind of stuff. Okay. Hope y'all understand. So if you have a question for me about my journey or something I didn't cover that you were wondering about my journey, unmute yourself and go now. How long will it take for someone to do it?
Penny wants to know how tall you are.
5'2". I'm little.
Yeah, have y'all seen our pictures against each other? I'm 5'9", so, or 5'8". Yeah.
I'm not looking at chat. That overwhelms me. There's a big 99 plus. I can't.
Did you have any buddy along beside you when you started, or your
Who am I
accountability
talking
partner?
to? Wave
Oh,
at
I
me.
don't. I'm not on the video.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I just want to make
Amy,
sure.
Amy Krim.
Okay. Say your question again, please.
Yeah. Did you have any accountability partner when you started, or a friend other than like the public THM Facebook groups?
Jennifer did it for a little bit, but it was not, she was not on plan like she is now. And so I kind of, no, not really. And I think somebody asked the question if I had a coach. Coaches really weren't a thing then. I became a coach probably 9 months into the program being released. I had to get money together to pay for it. That's why it took me so long. Thank you. Anybody else?
Cindy asked what your favorite carrot cake recipe was, because you were talking about
Deluxe carrot cake trim healthy table. Rashida's is okay, but Deluxe has a special place in my heart. 7 minutes.
Amber says, I binge watch her videos. I start thinking in a Southern accent, Amy.
KJ said that my dog Southern barks with an accent. I bet he's going to bark with an accent. Okay, did somebody else go on while Cindy was talking?
Hey, Amy, this is
Hey.
Tabitha.
Hey, girl.
Hi. I know that you're also you have a nutritional certification beyond being a THM coach.
Mhm.
How do you feel that has added to your experience?
Okay. Be 1,000,000% honest. I didn't learn much more than I didn't already know, but now I have a certification behind my name. Is that bad? There are some good resources that I'll be able to pull, and I will be adding that more to my Blooms program, but I wasn't able to add it this time because I changed from Facebook to Mighty Networks, and it was a little bit of a hot mess getting all that figured out. But I do pray that as time goes on, I'll be able to add more of that kind of stuff into Blooms for sure.
Okay. And is your Blooms process going well? I haven't gotten there
Yes,
yet.
I think it is, girls.
Yep.
Yes.
It's great.
Good.
Aren't they cute?
I miss you, and so does Karen Deaton. She's my accountability friend.
Oh, well, tell her I said hey.
I will get off now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Lauren Curley said, did you ever crack the original cookbook or plan book on your journey?
Crack it.
I guess use it, do it.
The original.
I don't know.
This one.
Maybe that, yeah, probably maybe that one. Lauren,
I
if you
have
want to clarify.
tabs for thyroid and hormone stuff. That hormone chapter is very interesting, girls. But I have never made the first recipe out of here. Katie McReynolds makes recipes out of here all the time. I'm like, I didn't even know there are recipes in there. I need to.
Yeah. I was going to tell you, I've known about THM for 7 years, and I've dabbled in it for literally 7 years up until about April last year. So yes, I have that book, and it was a very long read before you got to the recipes.
Yeah.
So somebody who's under David, I don't know who this is, says, how did you find a functional medicine doctor? Can this be done virtual?
It just depends on who the practitioner is. My functional medicine doctor is not taking new people, and she's in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. But what she told me, because I have a lot of clients that ask about this, but she said to call the local compounding lab and ask them who practitioners are that do things like you need. So if you want hormone pellets or Armor Thyro, ask them what providers prescribe that kind of stuff and what offices you could call. You could also search. I've done that. I have a client in South Florida. I have one in New York. I've searched and found them people. Like, it was a simple Google search. I typed in their town and said functional medicine doctor focusing on bioidentical hormone replacement, or hormone pellets, or natural thyroid, blah, whatever. I Google everything.
This is Brittany. I have a question.
Hey, friend.
So, what is next in your THM journey? Since you're a coach and you've reached your goal, you've exceeded your goal where you think you could. What's next for you?
I'm just gonna survive for a year. I really want to get down to my 2 days a week at CrossFit, like get that back, because like even last week I didn't hit that. I'm not crying a river about it because my mom had COVID and I had been around her, and so I was not feeling very well, also sleep deprived from the dog. So I gave myself grace. That's something I'm going to talk a lot about this year, is grace with boundaries. Because we can grace ourselves right back to that initial weight. And so have boundaries. So while I did not go to CrossFit specifically last week, my 2 times that I wanted, I walked so much. So I really want to encourage as many people as possible. I don't know if y'all know, but I'm not doing this as a ploy for coaching or to make money or anything, but a beautiful part of my journey, I've been able to take Monday nights and direct it to Zoom classes on specific topics. And y'all, those classes have been such a blessing to me. In addition to things like this, where I can actually see and interact with clients, such a beautiful thing. I love it so much. And helping women. I've been asked to help a few other coaches kind of get their business going as I can. That's been really fun. And then just in my journey, just supporting my family, it's been a great thing financially and also health-wise, kind of help them do some things. So thank you, Julie. I saw that message, Cindy. So just to continue, on my journey and doing it well. I want to do it well.
There's a couple other questions in chat. How do you know what to choose as your goal weight?
So I think it's more of a size. I lost down to 131 during the 100 days on plan. I haven't weighed in several weeks. I don't even know what I weigh, but I should have weighed this morning. I didn't even think about it. So if my size 4 pants fit, I'm fine. If they're getting tight, I know I need to watch my dairy again. I know I need to drink a GGMS, and usually it'll handle itself. But I trust the plan. I eat SE and Fuel Pull, and that's pretty much how I roll. Trusting the weight loss plan of THM and not giving up on it, I think, is more important than having a weight loss goal.
Nancy, no. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Amy, is there anything you did specifically on the plan that helped with your surgical menopause? I was right about the same age, like 30, 31, between 2 surgeries. Was there anything specific on the plan that helped you other than your hormones, or foods that you avoided that kind of inflamed or made that worse?
Yes. So before I started the hormone replacement stuff, I was very particular to have at least 1 E a day, which is pretty much what I do now. But I avoided grains. I'm okay having them most of the time now because my body's supported well. And then I did singing canaries because what you're doing essentially is you're nourishing your adrenals with the E's and the singing canary. The singing canary has lemon and the turmeric, which is automatically going to nourish your adrenals.
How
Very,
often
very
do
good for that.
How often do you have a singing canary?
Back then I would have one every day. Now it's just when I can remember to tell Katie to make me a gallon of it.
All right. I take a turmeric. So I do like the singing canary.
Yeah,
I try
it's
to
good. A little product that I use on days that I forget. This is from Global Healing Center. I just ordered it. One of my other clients had bought this. It is turmeric liquid, something others. It is organic turmeric, black pepper blend, raw herbal extract. And you shake it up real good because it kind of settles. And then you just put it under your tongue. And it's just like a little turmeric supplement. But I just keep it at my desk on the days that I don't have a canary, especially those bad days that I'd had, you know, a while back. It's probably my second or third bottle. So I do use it pretty frequently. And that's really helpful for my adrenals. Hey, Vicky. How are you?
Oh, go ahead.
I wasn't gonna say nothing.
Okay. Nancy says, will you do a Zoom class on THM basics for beginners? The Trim Healthy Plan book is overwhelming, hard to figure it out.
I did that several weeks ago. So I may restart those later in the year. But that is what my buds program is.
Penny says, do you consume kefir? I know you said you avoid dairy. Didn't know if that counts as dairy for you.
No, it does not. Cultured dairy does not count as dairy low for me. Cultured dairy is kefir, fat-free Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. So I don't do that much because I don't like it. And so I let myself have that a few times a week. It's a good lean protein source, and it's also good for your gut.
When you say you avoided grains, does that mean no almond flour?
No, that's not a grain. That's a seed and a nut.
That's it.
Cool. This was so fun. Cindy, you best. Thank you for taking care of me so much.
You're welcome.
Y'all give her a hand. She is so good. That was so fun. So fun. Thank y'all so much. I'm going to end the call. I will get all this stuff uploaded tomorrow because I'm going to bed now. It's been a long day. I've been working since 5 a.m. All right. I love y'all so much. And I'm just so grateful for all of you. I really am. Those of you that watched, those of you that are going to listen later, and you'll have this link if you ever want to watch it again. Bless your heart. Thank y'all so much. Bye, y'all.
Bye.